Okay, so our rake wall is going to be our wall that's not square, right? Or it'd be the wall kind of at the end of the house, right? So if you had a gable, you have a gable roof, right? This will be your rake wall, right? This triangular wall. And if you had a shed wall, this would be your rake wall. Now it's important that we let the program know if it's a rake wall or not, because it's going to be framed differently than a normal square wall, right? So if we scroll over here to our right, we can kind of see the examples of different ways we can frame these and let the program know how we want to frame it, right? So there's two ways to kind of frame up a rake wall, right? We can do it traditionally, which is you frame a square wall and then you'll frame a triangular wall on top, right? So for a gable wall, it'll look like that. For a shed, it'll look like that, right? We have a square wall here, and then we'll build a triangle on top of it. Now, if we wanted to balloon frame it, right? Balloon framing means we just use one stud from our bottom plate to our top plate, right? So essentially, if you balloon frame it, your rake wall will be one wall. If you traditionally framed it, you're kind of framing it in two walls, right? You're framing the square here, and then your triangle above, right? Because these studs on top, if it's traditional, are not going to be the same as these studs on the bottom. So it's important to let the program know how you want to frame your rake walls, right? So if you want to balloon frame it, you see this rake wall detail section, click balloon frame, right? Now another option, let's say you do have a vaulted ceiling, a gable wall vaulted ceiling. If you want to include in your estimate this post that will hold up your ridge beam, right? You can select basically how do you want to make that post. Do you want to use a PSL post, right? Or do you want to use a stud pack, right? Let's say you want to do 2x6s. You want to do 3 2x6s that'll hold up that post to hold up your ridge beam, right? So if we scroll over here, I'll show that in another video as well. So for this example, let's just scroll over here and put in 25 feet as our first wall. So you can see we need 21 studs and 6 plates, right? Now if we select rake wall, right, because that's just going to frame up a square wall. But if it's a rake wall and it's not square, if we check that, you can see that changes it to 29 studs and an extra 2 plates. And the reason we have that extra 8 studs is because we've calculated, hey, we're going to need 8 studs to calculate to build this triangle on top of our gable wall, right? So that's why it's important that you select the type of roof and the roof pitch, because that's how this is going to be calculated, right? So if we scroll and we just click balloon frame, we can kind of go back. You can see we use less plates. And the reason we use less plates, right, is because we don't have plates in the middle of our wall. We just have our bottom plate and our top plate. And you can see we're going to have different length studs right here because these studs, when we balloon frame, right, are going to be different lengths, right? So once again, if you, like anything, if you want to change the dimension of these, you just go to your final summary and you can kind of change, the material you use right here.